This is the fucking news!
Bloody cold here. Time for another week of gaming news. Microsoft and Sony are working together to take down Google. Not really, they're just going to share information and resources going forward. Specifically developing future cloud services using Microsoft Azure. With a new competitor emerging, I guess the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Alright, my weekly shit on Epic because it's shitting on all of us and my boy Gaben. Couple of PlayStation exclusives coming to the Epic Store, get release dates, Heavy Rain June 24th, Beyond Two Souls July 22nd, and Detroit Become Human in fall/spring depending on where you are. The opposite season to right now. Epic is having a sale, up to 75% off some PC games and $10 off any game over $15. That's a pretty solid deal. They're literally selling games at a heavy loss. Developers still get the full cut they normally would as well. Epic is just burning that Fortnite money to buy and monopolize the market. Every day it gets harder and harder to avoid them. Cloud-based gaming can't come soon enough. I'm done with PC, mate. Back to those console wars, I reckon. Sega Genesis Classic announced another 10 games, revealing a total of 30 out of 40 games now. Some massive classics in the list too. As far as these mini consoles go, this could be one of the better ones, I reckon. If you don't already own the Sega Arcade Classics game anyway, which basically has all of these on it. Still, Streets of Rage 2, Sonic 1 and 2, Street Fighter 2, Wonder Boy and Monster World, take my money. Nintendo Switch has outsold PS4s in Japan. 8.13 million consoles versus 8.07 million consoles in lifetime sales. Impressive feat in under half the time. Globally though, it's not even close. The Switch has sold 34 million and the PS4 96 million. It's my favourite console at the moment. Nintendo has always been the embodiment of fun for me. If I want a game seriously, that's what the PC's for, or cloud gaming soon because Epic's ruining it. Steam Link released on iOS nearly a year after it was supposed to. No word on who bowed down in the end, but it appears Apple is now happy enough. Is there really an audience for this though? Do people like to remote play their desktop on a tiny little screen on the same Wi-Fi connection? It seems ludicrous to me. I guess you can give the illusion of being more sociable by sitting with the family while still ignoring them. I think it would be more useful if it didn't have to be on the same local area network, because that'd be sick. I could go to my mate's place and still be jamming my PC that's at home. Speaking of Steam, The Division 2 has sold 10 times as many copies on Uplay as the original did by skipping Steam. These are the clickbait headlines out there. Obviously, the market's grown. Obviously, not having your market split on other platforms increases the sales on the one platform it is on. I guarantee you sales would have been far higher if it was released on Steam as well. But it's not about us, is it? No, it's about that dev money. Also, The Division 2 just opened its first raid. No matchmaking though. That's a mistake. Rest in peace, The Division 2. Apparently it's not all about the developer money though. Terraria's developer has come out with a fire tweet. No Relogic title will ever be an Epic Store exclusive. There is no amount of money we could be offered to sell our souls. I love it. Anyway, that's probably enough. Weekly whinge complete. Next, World of Warcraft, The Rise of Ashara. Update has released with 2 new areas, a new 8-man raid, a bunch of new customizations, essences which offer some sweet buffs and active abilities, as well as some new stat boosting options, like trinkets with slots, basically like classic gem socket. My fellow Taurans, you have some quests to go get some heritage armor. Gnomes too, but who cares, right? Mount equipment too, to give your mount some sick new abilities like Water Walk. No more Strider. You can actually rock your fucking sick mounts now. On the subject, World of Warcraft Classic. It has a release date at long last, August 27th. I'm pretty excited for this, as I didn't get into PC gaming or World of Warcraft until Wrath, which was my favourite time playing the game. It feels like it's got steadily worse since then, so by that logic, the stuff before Wrath must be sick. There was also a really cool World of Warcraft Collector's Edition announced as well, some art, a mousepad and a Nixia pin, some mounts, not for Classic, a Ragnaros statue and a month's game time, all for 100 USD. Probably worth it, I reckon. A new mobile Pokemon game is out. In Aussie anyway, Pokemon Rumble Rush. I know nothing more than that. I'm repeatedly refreshing the Play Store, waiting for it to be available here too. I assume we're next. It's a brawler. BT-dub. Dauntless is finally going to arrive next week on Xbox, PS4 and Epic Games. The 21st of May. A month later than anticipated. It's free, but will launch with a battle pass for cosmetics and stuff. You gotta make that microtransaction money. For you stoic Steam people out there, it's allegedly just a cheap Monster Hunter ripoff, so don't worry about it. It's also coming to mobile at some point, so it can't be any good. Oddworld Soulstorm is coming. The reworked, revamped to hell Abe's Exoddus. The best bit, scrolling screens. The camera now follows Abe. So instead of walking out the side of the map and appearing on the next screen, it all flows. It looks sick, man. This is another large part of my childhood being brought back to life, and I cannot wait. New and Tasty was done brilliantly, so... Another year, another Call of Duty to be spit out of the copy-paste reskin machine. It looks like it'll be Modern Warfare 4. I honestly don't care about it enough to talk about it beyond this. Same shit, different year. Grand Theft Auto 5 has outsold Red Dead Redemption 2 10-1 in the last 6 months. That's pretty nuts 6 years after release. It shows how well Grand Theft Auto 5's still doing this late, and it shows how badly Red Dead Redemption has fallen off as well. Diablo 3, yep, it still exists. And it is still just offering the same shit on repeat. But that same shit launched today. Season 17, with it a free Legacy of Nightmare buff. Basically, saving you 2 ring slots. But remember, no sets can be equipped. I'm actually really impressed that people are still playing and somewhat enjoying content this heavily recycled this far into its life. Alright, and finally to wrap, here's some stuff to expect at E3 quickfire. Bethesda, all we know is Doom Eternal and no Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout news. Perhaps more on Starfield? Activision, just another recycled Call of Duty. Unsure on when it will actually be delivered during the presentation, since it normally goes with Sony and Sony is not there. Ubisoft, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, as well as 3 unannounced AAA games to be released by March next year. No word if they're going to be shown here, but they'd be silly not to. EA, Anthem, if it's still around. Apex Legends, Battlefield 5, yes, flogging that dead horse. FIFA 20, updated skins, basically the same game. The Fallen Order, their next attempt at ruining Star Wars. Still, probably their one game that's worth a look in anyway, and I'll be watching it closely. Netflix! Wait, what? Netflix. Yes, Netflix. They want to bring some of their Netflix originals to life via video games. Because games based off TV work really well, right? No. Better than the other way around, at least. Umbrella Academy actually has quite a lot of potential, I think. Knock off X-Men. Nintendo! Pokemon Sword and Shield, obviously the single most important thing at E3. Animal Crossing, potentially Super Mario Maker 2, and Fire Emblem 3 Houses, even though they'll be releasing mere weeks after E3. They've promised to go big at E3 anyway, since Sony isn't showing up. So we'll see, I expect big things. Alright, now for the real speedfire round. Other games. Better Whack B Simulator, Borderlands 3, Cyberpunk 2077. I take it back. Pokemon is the second most important thing to be there. Cyberpunk is obviously number 1. Dying Light 2, Farmers Dynasty, Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Unfortunately, Fortnite will be there. Halo Infinite, John Wick, Hex, Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, Overpass, Paranoia, Happiness is Mandatory, Scavengers, Tavern Keeper, The Fisherman, Fishing Planet. Samalama, Dumalama, you assume I'm a human, what I gotta do to get it through to you? I'm superhuman, innovative, and I'm made a rubber so that anything you say is ricocheting off me or glue to you. I'm devastating more than ever, demonstrating how to give a motherfucking audience a feeling like it's levitating, never fading out under their heads. It's a forever waiting for the day they can say I fell off, they'll be celebrating, because I know the way to get them motivated. I make elevating music, you make elevator music. The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 3, The Riftbreaker, The Sinking City, The Walking Dead, Onslaught, Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince, World Rally Championship 8, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Earthblood. Some bloody awful games in that list, and a few bloody good ones too. E3 looks like it's going to be a mediocre at best. It's really up to CD Projekt Red and Nintendo to carry. The CD Projekt Red especially, man. Cyberpunk looks good. Until next week.